I'm going to do one of my favorite things today, which is talking about rental properties. My friend Vincent is going to give his insight on real estate investing and how he got started. Let's go. First of all, can you introduce yourself?
All right, so my name is Vincent M. Nash. I always say Vincent M. Nash.
I say it too.
Yeah, I always say in the middle of this. Vincent Marlon Nash. And I'm into real estate and got a couple businesses.
Okay. So the main thing I kind of wanted to talk about was real estate investing, since I'm a real estate agent. I'm also an investor. So real estate investing is super important to me, and I always like to connect with other investors. So my first question I have for you is, how long have you been a real estate investor? So when did you buy your first property?
My first property was my home.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to count that, but I bought that in 2018, 1920, 4 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago, probably a couple of months ago. That was the first property I ever bought. But the first investment property I ever bought was about a little over 3 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe 37 months ago.
Okay. And I'm sure, as you know, non-owner occupied properties are a different financial structure for when you're buying them. So 3 years ago, you decided to start buying non-owner occupied investment properties.
Right. I jumped right on in.
So why did you decide to do that?
Well, see, to be honest with you, my wife has a lot to do with it.
Okay. Good for her.
Yeah, she's the one who actually gave me the idea about transportation.
Okay.
In the first place. So in a lot of sense, I always tell her she's a visionary and I'm an executor. All right. So I started doing transportation, and I was making really good money. Like I told you, I got a contract with the state, and then it really took off. But one of the things that I noticed about the transportation business that I didn't like was that it was basically Medicaid control.
Okay.
So there was a middleman. And to me, that goes directly against a free market enterprise, or what, having a business is all about. So I knew that this wasn't going to be something that I would do long term. I knew that I needed something that, I could take into the future. And that's when I really started getting into real estate.
Okay.
And it would be totally something that I could control,
Yeah.
and really have say-so over my destiny.
Okay. Did you always know real estate was something that you wanted to do? Or was that kind of your wife's idea?
Real estate is one of those things where, you hear real estate and you don't really know. If you don't know real estate, you don't know what it means. You don't really know what is real estate. So it's something that, when I went to school in college, I just knew that I wanted to be a businessman and be successful. But I had no idea of how that would actually manifest itself. Real estate was kind of always in the air, but I didn't know how to attack it. But once I started researching it and learning about it, then I knew what I needed to do.
Okay. I feel like a lot of people ask me this question, and maybe a lot of people ask you too, but where and how did you find your first deal, right? We like to call them deals. Did you find it with a realtor on MLS? Did you find it off market?
Once I started researching real estate, the very first thing that I really started to research was the BRRRR method.
Yeah.
Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat.
Yep.
And, as I did my research, one of the main things that I kept coming across, those that were teaching it, those that wanted to be mentors, was to find a property below value. Like, that was the key. Make sure you find a property that's below value. And the BRRRR method is all about that. Finding something that's below value, adding value to it, and reaping the reward.
And now this was in 2018, you said.
This was in 2018.
Right. So people like to think that there aren't any good deals out there anymore. I can't find this.
No, there's always good deals. I mean, even in this market, I don't believe that there's no good deals.
Right.
I just maybe I'm biased because I've always found good deals, but I think it's just a matter of getting out there, knowing what you're looking for, researching, and going after the right thing, and being prepared.
Yeah.
So the BRRRR method taught me all about, let's find a property below value. So I went, I was gung-ho on finding a property below value. And so I said, well, what about foreclosures? So I went online and I just started going to different bank websites.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to US Bank. US Bank had a website at the time, and I think they've taken it down because I have not seen it since. But they used to have a site of all their what they call REOs.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Well, it's real estate, something off-market real estate. Anyway, bank-owned REOs, bank-owned real estate. So I went to Wisconsin. They had all these foreclosures in Wisconsin, and they had one in Milwaukee.
Just one property?
One property, because it was the whole foreclosures of all of Wisconsin. So it was like this one in Milwaukee, and I was like, and it's in the hood. It's like right down the street. Old Capitol Drive. I grew up on Sherman and Capitol. Okay. And this was on 29th and Capitol. So I remember I went and I looked at it, and it was cute. It was a nice little cute brick house. Just a single family brick house. And they were asking for like 70 something thousand for it. And I said, well, I got a realtor, and I said, let me offer 50. And they accepted 55, just like that. So that was my first property. I bought a single family home off 29th and Capitol for 55.
Okay. Did you get a conventional loan for that? Do you remember? Or was it all cash?
So I think that was hard money.
Okay.
I found someone, and I told them that I wanted to get into the real estate business, and I had about 5,000 because you just need about 10% hard money lender and the origination fee, and I had that, and they put the money up, and but again, I'm thinking BRRRR method, so I knew I was going to refinance it.
Yep.
Which I did. I refinanced it, and I got out of it, and with the conventional, 30-year mortgage loan.
Yep.
And I think that's pretty much how I've done almost every single property.
Okay. So would you say that all your properties needed a lot of work? I mean, 55,000 seems like you might be a dump, right?
But it wasn't.
It wasn't, okay.
It was, all I did was paint it. Let me tell you something. I bought that place for 55. 6 months later, I refied it at about 80 something.
Okay.
They said it was worth like 80, 90, so they gave me 70. I paid my hard money lender his 50 back, and I walked away with 20, which became my down payment for my next property.
I love it.
Right? And it didn't need a lot of work. All I did was paint it. I just sold that house as is, no work done, for, how much is that house? I believe $139,000.
The first one that you ever bought, you sold.
That was
okay.
So that was like 2.5 years later.
Okay.
3 years later, I bought it for 55 and ended up selling that one for like 140.
And you did rent it in between, right?
I rented it in between, so I was always making money on it.
Yeah.
Milwaukee is one of the best cities in the nation for new real estate investors. And that's why Milwaukee has a ton of out-of-state investors.
That is very true.
A ton of out-of-state investors. Milwaukee is one of the few places for me, okay? There's a lot of reasons why. Okay. But for me, I'm a North Side investor. I'm still new to this game, but I started in the North Side, primarily low income areas.
Do you do Section 8 too?
I do Section 8.
Okay.
So I'm buying properties for 50, 80. I bought this where we're doing this interview now. This is a 5-unit building. I bought this building for $139,000. Okay, $139,000. Now, I don't know if you've sold any 5 units lately. 4 units go for $250, right? So this is 5 units at $139, and the thing is, they will always be rented. You know, Milwaukee, there's a lot of reasons why Milwaukee's a great place. One of the reasons for me is that rent is always going to be needed. So I've got 5 units in here where everybody's paying $600 a piece on $139,000, you know, mortgage.
Yeah.
The cash flow on that is crazy.
And do you have 2 apartments upstairs and
It's
two?
three. It's 3 units.
Apartments upstairs and 2 businesses.
So while you talking like 6, 12, 18. So while you talking about $3,000 in rent, my mortgage is like $600 to $700.
Yeah.
Like $700.
Yeah.
And it's because it's $139,000. You know, you can't find that in California. That 5 unit in California is $2 million.
Right.
A normal 5 unit, if it's outside of this area, $250. I have a nice 4 unit on Leon Terrace. I bought that for $225. But it's simply because of where we are on 50th and Center that this sold for $139. I have not had any problems. I have the best tenants. They're super quiet. Part of that is just me being present.
Definitely.
You know, and not just handing it off to a property management company.
Right.
So just by investing a little bit of my time and effort, I've stabilized these units, and they reap great rewards when it comes to cash flow.
Yeah.
And that's the key for a new investor. Does it cash flow?
Right.
You know, you don't have to get involved with market rates and this and that. Does it cash flow? By the time you deduct your expenses from your revenue, are you winning?
Yep.
You know,
it's that simple, right?
And
it doesn't have to be that complicated.
It doesn't have to be that complicated. And even in this market where interest rates have gone from 3 to 6%, and a lot of people are seeing a reduction in that profit because of their debt cost, I don't see that. You know, and it actually mine got locked in at 3.5%. So I'm like really feeling like great.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You won the real estate lottery.
Oh, man, I got in right at the right time. But
yeah,
it's definitely, it's just a matter of doing your research and getting out there and making it happen, and stop making excuses.
Do you manage all of your units yourself now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you going to continue managing? So let's say you do reach your thousands goal. Is your plan to manage them yourself, or will you eventually hire other companies to do that for you?
I don't know. You know, I've been managing this little 35. I find if any property management company see this interview, expectations and levels of quality of service. This is me not knowing anything about the industry. I would buy a property. Let me use this one as an example. So this building, when I bought it, had 3 vacancies.
Yeah.
3 units were empty. No, 2 units were empty. One hadn't paid in 4 months, 4 months, and he had a dog that pooped everywhere along in the back.
That goes.
The building had a horrible color, and they wanted to get rid of it. I haven't done anything to this building. I did some kind of interior stuff in here, brought the wood back out and stuff like that. But just for me managing, just for me being here, you know, I put my office in here, you know, we painted that. I'm like, well, maybe I can start a property management company too. You know, or if not for me, for my son or for Jacobs over there. Like, I'm big about, as I grow, I like to give other people opportunities.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's all about.
Definitely.
And
then you would be able to tell them your expectations as a property owner,
right,
what you would want from a property management company. Because I think that a lot of times when I look at property management owned buildings, they're also run very poorly because no one is there checking on them and taking care of them.
And that's what it's saying. I mean, I haven't seen one yet.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh man,
yeah,
they make me want to go. It's always like, no, I'm not. And you know, and then they want to do it how they want to do it. I heard, and they don't really want you stepping. And I'm too much of a control.
Yeah.
When
I definitely think there are good ones out there. I just don't know which ones they are. So if you're a good property management company, let us know.
And I discover, and this is about risk. Life is all about risk and reward. That's what it's all about. You cannot discover new oceans unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore. So it's like, you're on this branch, right? And you're comfortable and you're safe and you know your surroundings and it's all good. But unless you jump off of that branch and decide to fly, you will never discover what's out there or the opportunities. And I like what Steve Harvey said. He said, when you jump off of that, you're gonna hit the rocks. You're gonna damage yourself along the way. But at some point, you're gonna catch flight. You're gonna catch flight, and you will never understand that unless you decide to go. So I hope that you know.
Right.
I hope that you guys do.
So what would you tell a new investor? Like, what advice would you give them? Or someone who's thinking about being an investor? So I get that all the time. So I'm thinking about buying investment property.
I would tell them to do it. That's what I tell everybody.
Yeah, do it, right?
Don't think about it, do it. So, most people, I get a lot of people who want to talk to me about real estate investing. And I walk into each conversation knowing more than likely you're not going to do it at all.
Yep.
Okay. So, what I would say to, those people are, don't talk about it, be about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Do your research. Follow there's YouTube is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
There's a guy that I really like named Ken McElroy, who is the partner to Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh yeah, I love Robert Kiyosaki.
They kind of came up together. And I love them because don't follow anybody. You don't need money to do real estate. You can be rich in a year. None of that sales shit.
Yeah.
Real estate is a long game. Real estate is about making yourself better. It's about becoming a better person financially, mentally, physically, spiritually.
It has 100% changed my life.
Yeah. And so you have to approach it with that mind frame. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's really about self-development. So do it, but you got people that you can follow. There are people, like I said, Robert Kiyosaki, he teaches, I like his teachings. They're very practical, valuable. That's just one person. But there are many people out on YouTube who, even myself, I have a few videos up. Like I have one called Investing for Newbies. Like you asked me, what do you look for?
Yeah.
So there are people out there, and then take that information and utilize it.
Yep.
And it's simple
Learn from that, right?
Learn from that. It's simple as that. And you will need to get your credit right. You will need to have some money in the bank. You will need to make sure, that you as a person are solid.
So I hope that you found some value in that. I will link Vincent's YouTube channel so you can go watch his other videos if you would like to. And of course, if you're interested in getting into real estate investing, I would love to help you locate a property and figure out how to do your first deal.